Hello everyone!
Hey guys,
We're here live streaming from Israel, from Tel Aviv area with Maor Amar. This will be our dropshipping news session. And we told you yesterday in a post that we're going to do from now on every Monday a session about everything related to dropshipping. So it means everything that has to do with eBay, Amazon, several other sources, news that we hear about, even Shopify, new platforms, new opportunities. And this is the place for you to hear about those new opportunities, to ask us any relevant questions that you have, anything that you think might affect yourself, your business now or in the future. And we, based on that, will be able to give you this information. And even based on your questions and based on your ideas, we can do our future episodes. So please feel free to be active, feel free to ask questions, to give us offers, because the more you give us and also the more you like and share, we'll be able to do a better show for you.
yeah, so guys, as Igal mentioned, this is a news session. That means that we're gonna speak about what's hot in the world of e-commerce. That means we're gonna speak about eBay, we're gonna speak about Amazon, we're gonna speak about Walmart, we're gonna speak about Shopify, and many other ways for you to conduct your businesses in the e-commerce industry. And we're gonna bring the very updated news. That means that every time that something is going on in the world of e-commerce, we're gonna try to bring it to you guys, and you can ask questions. And if there are anything that you think that we need to speak about, then please let us know. And I'm sure that after a while it's gonna grow itself, and that's it.
Yeah, so we have here a few interesting topics that we already prepared for you. After that, we'll look at the comments and see if you guys have anything. We already got a few things that people were interested to know, but we'll start with these ones and we'll see how we're going based on that. So without further ado, more, let's start. For example, let's start with one interesting topic, which is Amazon Prime Day.
Yeah.
Can you speak about when it is, what it is, and what we as eBay dropshippers can do and take advantage of that?
Yeah. So Amazon Prime Day is actually supposed to happen in July. I'm not sure the exact date, but everyone is looking forward for the Prime Day. So the Prime Day, for those of you that don't know what Prime Day means, Prime Day is a big sale day on Amazon. It's actually a huge sale day on Amazon, where they drop all the prices. They bring all kinds of new promotions and new stuff to the Prime Day, and everyone is looking forward for the Prime Day. The only thing about Prime Day is that since we are doing dropshipping from Amazon mainly, then there are a lot of issues that is related to security. So Amazon doesn't want us to exploit the Prime Day, and they have a lot of attacks on Prime Day. Actually, last year on Prime Day, Amazon was out. There was a network outage for about, I think, 2 hours, which is a lot of time, and still Prime Day was a very great success, and people made a lot of money, and of course it's like the big sale event of Amazon during the year. But that means that for us, we need to know that Amazon is also doing all kinds of obstacles. If we are doing auto purchasing, if we are doing monitoring, we should not lower the price too much. Even though the prices on Amazon is being lowered, that doesn't mean that we should do this on our accounts, because that means that we will find ourselves probably in a situation if we won't be able to monitor the pricing over there.
Yeah, and it also is very similar to what we're going to do with other events like Cyber Monday or Black Friday and stuff like that. We always have to be careful with those days because they have a great potential for sales, but also if we're using retailers like Amazon and others, they know pretty well that people are going to take advantage of that, and so they will make some kind of challenges for us to prevent that. So that's a very good point. You don't want to have like 100 orders that will have to be cancelled because either your account is locked or you have a limit on how many units you can purchase per item. This is, by the way, something that happens on Amazon more and more. They spot items that people buy a lot and they limit them. So it's difficult to have solutions for that. So it's important to pay attention here.
And the next coming event that is already, of course, everyone knows about it and everyone is waiting for it, is of course the 4th of July, the American Independence Day. And this is also a great day to start doing sales. But you should know that people are always doing the same mistake over and over again. The same year, they start very late. That means that what they do, they list items in a very late period. Like I can tell you guys that if you didn't started listing items for 4th of July, this is not the time for you. So you should be aware about all the holidays and everything that is going on and when you list items. But for those of you that did already listings of items for 4th of July, I can tell you that two items that are catching fire every year. The first one is of course the American flag. So people in America loves to put down the American flag on the yard, on the grass. That means that American flags are selling and they are very hot items. And it's very hard to compare between flags. So it's very tricky about the pricing. You can actually take advantage on that. Second thing I wanted to say about products for 4th of July. So last year the biggest item for 4th of July was actually a Donald Trump. No, it was the Funko Pop action figure. So Funko Pop is like a big company that creates action figures like dolls, and Donald Trump was actually one of the top selling products last year. So I'm guessing that even though if you don't want to sell Funko Pop, which can be sometimes viral or an issue when you're selling, think about expanding in the action figures and think about American icons such as Donald Trump.
Yeah, also Make America Great Again hats can be also very popular. Everything that's kind of patriotic and stuff like that. And regarding what you said regarding flags, that's a very important point, that there are so many flags, there's such a big variety, but really if you look at Amazon, it's not that there's a substantial difference between this flag with the same characteristic costing $10 or $14. Exactly. So what you can do is basically sort them by price, low to high, make sure that it's not an item that's getting repetitively just bad results, bad reviews. And once you see an item like that, you can put it, and I promise you that on eBay you will be competitive, because on eBay there are also a big variety of prices for these items. So good chance that someone is selling also dropshipping from Amazon the more expensive flag, and then in the competition, in the results, you will appear higher with that. So take that into consideration.
Mm-hmm. Let's move on to the next topic. So the next topic of today will be Shopify Fulfillment. So I don't know if you guys are doing Shopify, which is of course very recommended, and I think that it's always like the next step of the business. Like people, at least like me, that comes from the world of retail arbitrage and then moves and moved itself to selling on Amazon and then selling on Shopify. I can tell you guys that Shopify is starting to do great things, and there is very big excitement in the world of e-commerce since Shopify announced that they are going to open a new fulfillment center in the United States. That means that Shopify is trying to follow the footsteps of Amazon, and I'm guessing that very shortly they're gonna expand this business model, and that means that there are more opportunities for us. And I know that people that are doing Shopify is very excited regarding this. So you should read about this, you should know about this, and I think that's about Shopify.
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't really looked deeply into it, but I think one thing that they realized is like 90% of the people who do dropshipping from there use stuff like AliExpress or other Chinese sites, and also Chinese suppliers. So they said, why don't we make it easier for them and for the buyers to make it already to be in the United States, and so you don't have to use like a third-party fulfillment, and it makes for the people who are just new in the business slightly easier. So it's an interesting opportunity, and I think the earlier you get to it, the more benefits you'll have, because probably as it goes with Amazon, gradually they will put more limitations or more restrictions or stuff like that, especially when you're starting new. So be the first ones and see how it goes with it. It should be interesting.
Okay, so moving on to the next topic.
Cool.
Amazon United Arab Emirates. So Amazon AE, that means United Arab Emirates, is a new website that just launched, and Amazon is giving this a very big focus. That means the people that are selling on Amazon are getting in the United States at least, are getting emails, countless emails, trying to persuade them to send inventory into United Arab Emirates and work with the prime of this new arena. So I'm not sure exactly if this is going to help us in the world of dropshipping, or if it's going to be an opportunity for us, but I can tell you guys that everything can be an opportunity to someone. That means that probably you guys know a way to make a profit from that. So I'm guessing that this is a big news as well, and that means that Amazon is also expanding in the global market, and I'm sure that we will probably find more and more announcement about new big surprises from Amazon like that in other countries.
I think also, I'm not sure if there is an eBay site locally for United Arab Emirates. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But either way, it could be an interesting opportunity, because if you think about it, I don't know anyone, and I've been in this space for like 10 years, that does dropshipping in the United Arab Emirates. Have you heard about it?
No, actually not.
Exactly. So that's another opportunity, even if there is no eBay locally there. Like in Israel, there's also not really an eBay marketplace, but still there's a lot of buyers in Israel who use eBay.com. Same with the United Arab Emirates. And now that they have this Amazon opportunity, we can absolutely do arbitrage using them. So think about it, it's like if you compare UK and United States Amazon. In the United States, there's so much competition that the price difference become zero almost. It's very difficult for new people to come in. However, in the UK, it's still more profitable, and if you go back 2 years, 3 years, it was amazing. Like it was a very high profit compared to the United States. Again, just because there's less competition. And here it's completely new, so you don't have any competition at all. So you can basically decide on what price you want, what profit you want, and I'm sure there will be interest. So I think that's a very interesting opportunity to look into.
Okay, great.
Awesome. So by the way, guys, everyone who's here, if you're watching, we'd appreciate a like to see that you're here and you're enjoying. So that would be great. Also, we're seeing that there's a couple of questions. Again, we'll address them later. We want to cover these topics right now, and then we'll address your questions. So let's talk about back to school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as you guys know, we need to be prepared in advance. That means that every holiday, every event that is happening in the world, and it doesn't matter if you are selling in the United States, UK, Germany, or whatever place in the planet, we should be always preparing in advance. And the reason why we should do this is, of course, because we don't have an inventory. That means that we need to think about ways to stock up in our products. If I'm using retail arbitrage, then I need to think about ways to list items from now till the peak, and somewhere around the peak I should think about maybe delist those items.
Mm-hmm.
So the next event that I'm going to talk about is, of course, back to school. So in September, most of the kids around the world are going back to school. That means that we need to stock up for them. And also it's gonna be a small preparation also for students around the world, which mainly starts around October. So I'm guessing that if you guys thinking about maybe going in the niche of back to school, this is the time for you guys to start listing items, to think about what you want to sell, and to explore and try to research those categories.
So what kind of items, for example, would you say are relevant for back to school?
Well, it's hard to say because every year is completely different. Of course, there is the regular stuff such as the essentials like notebooks and pens and everything that is related to study. But every year, always there is some kind of big hit around the world, something that is changing, something that is trending. So people should try to do a very good research. I'm guessing that the first research that most of the people should do is always try to find out where the peak of the season of back to school actually starts and where it ends. And I always recommend using Google Trend in order to understand exactly when the peak starts and when the peak stops. And I'm guessing that if you guys will firstly learn it, you will at least save yourself time and you will be prepared in advance, and also you will find yourself not listing items that is over the peak of the season, and no one will probably buy them.
Yeah, that all the profit from these items has already been made and now it's left for scraps. Another thing that I would suggest as a prior research, so let's say you know now when you have to be ready with the products, but you want to know what might be interesting. So again, you can use Google Trends for that, but also you can just use Google. So type in back to school, and I promise you that there's a lot of sites that list what items are going to be hot this season, and it's people that have already done the research for you. Exactly. So there are a lot of like news and blogs and like Huffington Post and like BuzzFeed sites that actually have like even slideshows of what items are going to be hot. These are sites that many hundreds of thousands and millions of people are going to, and naturally after that they will be searching those items on the different platforms. So this is something that you can take advantage of. Also, you can just type in simply in eBay or Amazon back to school and then see all the items that are related, because not necessarily do sellers put the back to school in the title, but in Amazon, as you guys probably know, there's also a section as a seller for like meta keywords or related suggested keywords that they put. And if they're interested to put them and you type it, you will definitely see those items. And then you can research even further. You see those items, you research them, see what related items can also be bought. So you can create kind of this niche of different items that are back to school related to each other, which will enhance your chance of selling items and taking advantage of this season.
I will also add to that I think that the best way to sell those items is actually with a kit. Like find yourself a bundle of a few items and create yourself your own kit. This could be something that will help you drive more sales, and it makes you have a bigger cart when you do the sale itself. So I'm guessing that let's say if I'm taking a notebook and then a pencil and then something else, and I'm creating like my own kit and I'm selling it, first of all, I'm avoiding a lot of competition because people don't know how to compete with me because I just bundled 3 items. Second, on eBay eyes it looks very good because I created a new kit, original one. And on the third hand is of course the profit. Instead of just selling one item and profit from one item sold, I can profit from a few items bundled together.
Yeah, and also the good thing is that people don't really use math to exactly calculate how much it costs. So, for example, we have a bundle of 3 items, and per each item we can do a profit of $2 for this item, $3 for that, $4 for that. It's not that people will actually compare what will it cost me to buy them separately. They see something they like, they see that it's all together. They don't want to bother with buying from this seller, that seller, and then waiting for it to arrive in different times. They say, okay, it looks nice, I can afford the price, and they go for it.
Yeah.
And also another tip I have regarding bundling, which I also really suggest, and I had a lot of success with bundles, is that if you go on Amazon and scroll down a bit in the product page, you will have kind of frequently bought together box, and then it will show you exactly what Amazon suggests you to buy it with. And they don't just suggest it from thin air, right? It's based on people who already bought these things together. So why not use this as an advantage for yourself and already create this kit and offer it to the buyers on Amazon?
Exactly.
Awesome. So continue to the next one, or you have something?
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, so this one is also related to kind of seasons, and it's the holiday season is soon starting, right? So I wrote here regarding toys, but there's a lot of things. So can you talk a little bit about holiday season? What can we look for? What should we be selling?
Yeah. So this is the time where toys become more popular around the year. That means that from now, if I'm in the toys niche, if I'm selling in the toy niche, or I want to sell items that are very hot items for the holidays, I should always think about toys, because toys is like one of the biggest selling category in e-commerce around the world during the holiday season. And that means that people starting from Black Friday starting to purchase a lot of toys. But I can tell you that it's kind of tricky, because when it's the peak season, of course people purchase a lot of toys. There is of course a lot of competition and stuff, but then starts the slow season around January again, where toys are less selling, unless it's let's say a very good promotion. And also I can tell you that around February, more or less, it's like the time where people are starting to return a lot of items to the stores, and then that means that the market is very flooded with a lot of toys. So that means that most of the market chains, suppliers, people that actually deals with toys, what they normally do around February, they do a wholesale for a very low margin.
Just a fraction of the price it was before.
Yeah, exactly. And what is happening mainly around February is that the prices drop down so low that and the market is very flooded with a lot of toys, where it's like not so good time to sell items or toys. But during the holidays, it's of course a very good peak, and this is the niche, of course, with the biggest movement, of course, in sales. So I'm guessing that if you want to be in the trend, you should think about it right now. You should know what exactly you want to sell and take it from there. And I think this is it.
Okay. Now it's getting really hot in here, so let me just put the air conditioner a bit colder, and I'll be right back. So
I thought you want to say it's getting hot in here.
because of you.
So let me take off all
Yeah,
my
take
clothes.
off my clothes, yeah, and put some rap music.
Exactly.
Okay, so hold on.
So I'm just gonna say that in general, toys is a very good niche as long as you know how to exactly work it. Because if you guys don't exactly understand the way that people deals in the United States with toys and the way that they used to do returns or the way that they trend with it, I can tell you, don't deal with it at all. But if you guys up to it, then of course it's a very good way to make or drive sales into your store. A funny story, because once you went into the air conditioner, I just remember on a funny story that actually happened 10 years ago, or more or less. No, I think it was less than that, but anyway, I was selling on eBay toys, a lot of toys, and one of my items was starting sale like crazy. It was something that is called my pillow pant. It was the biggest hit of the Christmas holiday. So the what happened is that Oprah Winfrey told people that this is like the number one toy in the planet, and people should buy them for their children for Christmas. And what was funny is that after like a very short period of time, people have started buying a lot of pillow pads from me, and I was sourcing them actually here in Israel. There was a local supplier, I was sourcing it from him, and I was shipping them to the United States. And in 1 week, we sold all the inventory that was available.
How much is it? Like hundreds? Or?
It was hundreds to a few thousands. Yeah.
Nice.
But it was crazy times.
Yeah, so one thing that you want to be aware of is that this toys is a very viral environment. So there's a lot of copyright, a lot of trademark there, especially for, let's say, movie like Marvel movies and stuff like that. They're very adamant, they're very strict regarding these things on eBay, and they have these bots searching for people who are selling this without authorization. They actually have a list of what usernames are authorized to sell and which ones do not. So be careful with that. But yeah, if you know what you're doing and you use a good monitor or a good method that blocks dangerous or viral items, then you're good with that. Another thing is everything that's related to children is returns. It's not something you can always predict 100%, but many of these items, because they are being used by children, it's not always accepted to return them to Amazon. So there will be cases where unfortunately you will have to take the loss if someone wants to return it, because your policy says 30-day returns, let's say, and once the person initiates the return, you try to return it to Amazon and they say this item is not returnable. So take account into that. But if you do it smart, this is something that is very profitable. As Maor said, you can easily hop on a trend and sell a lot of items for a lot of profit.
Okay, moving forward to the next topic, I wanted to talk, and this is for the Amazon sellers. So guys, Amazon is doing a lot of changes in the Amazon policy, at least on the way that you are listing items on Amazon. So there are a lot of changes, and it's also related to people that does dropshipping, and I'm gonna talk on both sides. So that means if I'm listing an item on Amazon, there is a certain way that I should write my title. So up until now, I could do a very long title. I think it was 250 characters. And now Amazon is starting to make herself more looking as a catalog. So of course Amazon has the appearance of a catalog. This is the way where you have one ASIN and then you have a lot of items that are selling under the same ASIN. But Amazon is trying to improve the way that they are writing the names of the products, and this is why they want to deal or work on the titles itself. So Amazon is reducing the number of characters that I can use in some categories, not all. That means that on some categories I will be able to list items only with 50 characters, which is very few words, but it looks like a catalog if you think about it, because a catalog is always about a very few words that describes the same item. Now, what does it mean for us dropshippers? So first of all, I think it's good news. I don't think it's a bad news. I think it's a very good news for dropshippers, because if I'm using an automatic system, most of the time if I have a title which is longer than 80 characters, the system will just stop at the 80 character or at the nearest word to the 80 characters, and that means that I could lose the important keywords, or I can maybe sell item with a wrong description, and people take title as a description even though we know it's not. And I think it's good news, because most of the time when this happened was with items that usually had a lot of variations, and then the guy tried to outsmart Amazon by writing all the variation in the title, and when I just stopped the title in the 80 characters, that means that sometimes I lost the measurements of the item. And also, I can tell you that Amazon is also indexing now the new items on Amazon. If they enforce rules that makes you write, if you have an item that is in inches, you should write the full name of inches and not just use the quote as the way to describe inches.
Like 6 and then quote like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So this will not be indexed.
Yeah, this one won't be indexed. And again, this is good for us because it describes the items better, and it also gives us the opportunity to use our own optimization to the title and make sure that the title that we are selling with is of course the best optimized one. And guys, I should say that I got a very good tip once from someone that works on eBay. It was in a Las Vegas convention, and one guy told me, in order for you to describe the best title that you have for a product, the first thing you should know, you should try to describe this item for a blind man. And I'm taking this advice as like one of the biggest advices, even though that when he said it, I was so experienced, and every time I was like talking about titles and the importance of titles, I can tell you that this guy actually said one simple sentence that actually drops all the coins, because he said it very clearly, very easily. He said, describe an item for a blind man, and this is the way you get your best title. So again, once the Amazon sellers will start describing their title very good, then we can take it, we can optimize it, we can do a better job, and I'm guessing that this is good news for us.
Yeah, I actually really like the tip of describe it as if it were a blind man. I think that really does a mind shift.
Yeah.
And I want to clarify a bit and to give an example for guys here that regarding what you said that there will be like before this was enforced, the 50 characters, there was this problem of variations. So for example, let's say I sell notebook with like a laptop computer with I don't know, this processor, this that, and then after the 60 or 70 characters I put there with a 500 gigabyte hard drive, and then with 1 terabyte, and then an SSD of that. So if we take the title, which is obviously more than 80 characters, and we put it on our eBay store, our monitor or whatever we choose will cut it on the 80 or even a bit earlier and put 3 points, like let's say it would cut, it would go up until like the 500 gigabytes and then ... And what happens is, let's say we didn't take the variation of the 500 gigabytes, but we took the variation of the, let's say, 256 gigabytes. But because on the title we had 500 gigabytes, our customer will expect that, and if they receive the item that is different, they will want to return it or leave negative feedback or stuff like that. So now that Amazon is kind of giving this guideline, it's not that they're enforcing that you only have 50 characters. You can put, let's say, 200 characters, but it will be indexed less, and sometimes they say it will even be de-indexed. So we will see more and more sellers using just 50 characters. And the way, as you said, that it's good, that now there won't be this misunderstanding of variations, because now the variations will be inside the product page. So that, let's say your monitor is taking the title and then the variation, the chances are that it will be much more accurate and people are going to get what is written in your title. So hopefully that makes sense, because it's kind of, sometimes it's tricky to understand. No symbols. We talked about that.
Yeah.
So not just inches, right?
Yeah, no ASCII symbols, no numbers, no exclamation mark, question marks. This is not allowed as well. And I'm guessing this is good. This is good. Oh, I forgot to speak about the caps. So there are a lot of sellers. There's something that goes around, at least in the world of e-commerce, when people say you should write your title with a caps lock.
Mm-hmm.
That means that you will appear better because it catches the eye and everything. But for me it looks like someone
cheap.
I think that someone that doesn't understand e-commerce wrote it if I see a caps lock on all titles.
Mm-hmm.
So Amazon also enforced a new rule regarding this. So you should write each word should start with a capital letter, and that's it. All the rest should be small letters, and it's not allowed anymore to do all titles in caps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's good. Again, it's a better experience for your customer, and especially if you're doing bulk upload. Imagine if all those bad titles are now getting better for you, and you don't even have to change them. Okay, so if we do you have anything else you wanted to add to that before we start with questions?
Let's move forward.
Okay. So I think now would be a good time to see if we have any questions here from you guys, and you can write if you have something you want to add. So let's see. So now you see me all close and personal. Yeah, Maor, maybe you can see on your device if there are something. Okay, so Yassine, hi, how you doing? We will save the live, don't worry about it. It will also be available on YouTube, so both on Facebook, on YouTube, and also we have an Instagram page, so you can check it out there. Okay. Yeah,
so,
maybe.
Let me read the question. So Yassine says, it's about how we can open different accounts in the same computer and the same IP. If there is any possibility, how can we do that? Well, that's a big question, but I will try to answer it as best as I can with, let's say, not a lot of time. So in general, if we are talking about eBay accounts, that means that eBay allows me to open just one account on every occasion. That means that if I'm a store owner, according to eBay laws, there should be a specific reason why I want to expand to my second or third account.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to do that, I need to always follow eBay guidelines and eBay rules. That means that if I want to expand my business to the next eBay account, I should contact them, I should let them know, I should give them a very good excuse, a reason why I want to do that. And the only use case that works for that is actually the use case of dealing in another eBay arena. This is one use case, and the second one is dealing with different products.
Yes.
So let's say that I'm selling in the niche of I don't know, toys, kids and baby, and now I want to sell knives. Then I can say it doesn't combine together, and this could be a good, let's say, use case. But I have to say that lately eBay is doing more and more issues with guys that are doing drop shipping. That means that they won't allow you very easily to expand or to do that. Mm-hmm. So the next step, and I'm guessing that this is what Yassin is more referring to, is what is called stealth account. So stealth account is very popular around the world. It's a very good, easy way to expand your business. I'm always recommending guys that are already moved to the next step or in a position where they can no longer develop their own business, and now they want to expand to new accounts or more accounts. And there are two ways actually to do that. One of them is to buy one. Second is to create one by your own. So a few general rules, and I'm not gonna speak a lot about the way it's being done because I'm guessing that it's kind of working on the gray side of the laws or what is allowed on eBay.
Guidelines.
So yeah, guidelines, and I don't want to be the one that actually teaches you guys or explaining to you guys how to do that. So just a general few very short tips. First tip is to use an email that is not being created in the last few days. So eBay has a mechanism where they can find out how old is the email address, and once they see it's a brand new email under 2 weeks or something like that, they can understand it's a part of way to do that. And second, they have an API to companies that provide services that gives them this information about how old is the email. And I'm guessing that most of the time they are using emails such as Gmail or Hotmail to get the information, because it's kindly unlikely to do this on a small email service provider. Like I used to work with Atomic Mail and Mail to Last and all kinds of mail services or providers. And what I was doing with them is, of course, I was creating accounts, and people hardly knows how to recognize how old is the email.
Mm-hmm.
Second is, of course, the use of a good VPN or a good proxy. So there are a few kinds of IP addresses. The first one is what is called data center IPs, which means that if I'm using the cloud, doesn't matter if it's Microsoft Azure, Amazon AWS, or Google Cloud, which is like the three biggest cloud services in the world. Today, each one of the services has an allocated IPs, and those allocated IPs are called data center IPs. Now, it's very easy to understand that this came from a data center.
So eBay can recognize, okay, this IP is in our list from a big company like Google data center,
Exactly.
or AWS. Okay.
And it's very easy if you do a whois or whatever service that tells you what is myip.com, or you will very easily see that actually this is a Google IP and it comes from a data center that is located, I don't know, in Atlanta or whatever.
So just for people who don't really understand regarding what's the difference here, me and you in our homes, we have our IP, which is essentially the address, our internet address that is given by our ISP, our internet service provider, right?
This is the next group. So the next group of IPs is called what is called residential IP. So what you are talking about right now is actually a residential IP. That means that I'm getting an IP address from my service provider, and this looks or appears to the one that sees the communication as something that came from a residential. So this is the let's say the second group. The third group is of course the mobile group, because we have a lot of mobile devices and we need a mobile IP addresses. Now the fourth group is what is called a proxy. A proxy is actually a server that actually I always like to compare it to like when you ask someone, can you bring me a glass of water? That's a proxy. Because he went and he brought you a glass of water.
Instead of you doing it. Right?
Exactly. So this is exactly what proxy means. Now, proxy IPs are sometimes very easy to discover and sometimes they don't. Why is that? Because there are a lot of services that offer you guys to use the IP address of a proxy. That means I will bring you the glass of water. But think about a proxy IP, which actually became very old because people used it so many times that the IP address is being used a lot and again, and maybe it was used again and again on eBay. So a proxy, even if they allocate it just for you, you should know that sometime there was a history for that.
So it may be that for the same IP, even if it's like your own IP and nobody currently uses it, maybe someone else in the past also used that to open their own eBay account and to use it for a stealth account. And now if you're doing it, it's easier for them to recognize because they have a list of what IPs were used to open accounts on eBay.
Now, another group of IPs is a VPN. A VPN is a virtual private network. That means that I'm connecting to a private network in whatever place I want the IP address to be from. And I'm using it, it's more or less like a proxy. It's easy to recognize if it's being used a lot. So there is a lot of services that offers you like what is called a fresh IPs that is not being used or it's not being used on websites like eBay or so on. And this is more or less like the group of IPs. Now, if you are going to use each one of the groups of IPs that I just mentioned, I just wanted to say that the data center are sometimes good enough until one point. I can tell you, like, you can probably get yourself registered to eBay with a data center IP. But if you're gonna do a list very fast, then they will probably block you because in the first place you started in a very let's say risky position when you use the data center IPs, but it still works. I can tell you that it works.
It raises a flag, but not until you do something really like shady and they will say,
Exactly.
okay, stop, this is too much risk.
Yeah, exactly. Now, residential IPs are the most, of course, safe ones, but they are also very expensive, and they are less reliable if you want to allocate one for you to have it as like something that is going to stay with you. So there is no way to really get a residential IP, which of course I mean from a service provider, not someone that puts his computer inside his home.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no way to really get from a service provider an IP address that is allocated just for you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have an option to get a good service of that, then recommended again, Proxy and VPN. So if you guys decided to use one of them, use the fresh ones. Use the fresh IPs, even if it costs more. Sometimes it costs more. Do that. Do that. Go to the premium services and not the non-premium ones.
Okay, so someone asks, what is the best VPN or proxy or VPS or RDP?
Well, there are many. I can tell you that Luminati is one of the best. We have Proxy and VPN.
Proxy dash N and dash VPN. Yeah.
Exactly. Lemon VPN. Yeah, Lemon Proxy, Lemon VPN. I can't remember the exact name.
Kamatera.
Kamatera is actually more doing cloud services than proxy IPs.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, Kamatera is working on the foundation of Google Cloud.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a good, nice UI for Google Cloud services.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Right. So you're saying that their IPs are marked as kind of data center.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So basically, I think maybe the mindset for opening like stealth accounts is to imagine that you're a whole new person, that you're opening an account for someone completely else. And for that, you maybe even if you want to take it seriously, and if, for example, each account for you generates a lot of money, you can even buy a new computer and also order a new DSL line or a new IP from your service provider, so that it would be like naturally really a new separate entity. And for that, you will need all other information as another person, preferably someone who doesn't live in your vicinity. So let's say not in the. It depends on which country you're using. For example, in the United States, I think you have to be like a few miles away, so it won't link you together and stuff like that. But it's really based on not something that eBay discloses, because obviously this is something that eBay doesn't encourage, but by trial and error of people. So I don't think we want to go further than that. I think.
Yeah. Lastly, just in one sentence, if you decided to do that, at least find someone that you can prove his identity. So very soon, eBay and PayPal will ask you for a proof of identity, and that means that you need to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that people are going into the, I don't know, in our in the e-commerce industry, people are so afraid of the walls that people are so afraid of the walls that was that PayPal, eBay, Amazon puts around them. So they're always trying to find some ways to just follow around it. So what they usually do, they go and they do a fraud of documents, which is of course actually it's a federal felony, and I'm guessing that around the world people takes it very seriously. So don't do that. Just follow the guidelines, or at least stay on the safe side and don't cross the boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about that regarding this. I
Yeah.
think we said we'll just touch it a little bit, and now we gave here a lot of, I think, interesting information, especially regarding the IP types and how eBay marks them. That's interesting information that I think very few people know. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, so Marianne, regarding where is the best place to get fresh IPVPNs? So we already mentioned that, right? Regarding fresh IPs, you can see in the video a few minutes back. Let's see. Thank you very much. You're welcome, Said. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Okay. Nice. Hi, Maor and Igal. Hi, Luis. How you doing? Okay, so Yasin has a lot of questions, which we are excited to be of interest to you, so that's nice. Let's see, how can open many accounts with this? Okay. Do we have more time to talk about suspended Amazon accounts, or not yet?
We don't have a lot of time, like 5 minutes before we end this session, but in general, people of course suffer these days from closed Amazon accounts. I'm just gonna say that every year around this period of time, Amazon is doing something like a cleanup.
Why? What?
Well, I'm guessing that this year it's bigger than ever, and I'm gonna speak about it in a second, but just so you know, around the holidays, people are starting to get a lot of Amazon accounts closed because Amazon is trying to clear the way from people that are trying to get their hands on Amazon inventory. And I'm not sure if you guys are aware of that, but I'm getting requests actually every week to purchase big amounts of items, just a one item, but to get thousands of him, because it has a limited quantity of stuff like that. So I'm getting a lot of course, requests like that, because people are always looking to take advantage on a very good promotions that Amazon does. So Amazon does a very good cleanup before the holidays. Every year it happens. Now, the second thing, and this is a very big thing that is happening in the world, as of course everyone knows, which is the discounted gift cards. And the discounted gift cards are coming from a non-legit place, and this is the reason why Amazon is starting to clean up everything. And as you probably know, people are getting these discounts for a very big discount, and it's very tempting. And now it looks like it's not just Amazon; it's also other marketplaces that are starting to try to narrow down the world of gift cards in general. I can tell you that me as a supplier of gift cards, I had I had an issues with not just Walmart. It's Walmart, Home Depot, and actually all the US vendors decided, after they are getting approach from FBI, IRS, and stuff like that, to move forward from the world of B2B to just B2C, and to narrow down the number of suppliers, and it's starting to make big noise. And I'm guessing that this comes from the discounted cards. And I hate to speak about it because I'm in the industry, so it sounds like I'm trying to...
Like you're biased.
Yeah. So I'm still trying to be objective as I can, but this is the actual proof. So people are getting a lot of Amazon suspended. Actually, a few of my clients got their Amazon accounts suspended as well. Of course, there was a lot of issues, serious of issues with their accounts as well, because part of them used non-legit tax exempt, non-legit Prime accounts, and non-legit gift cards, and then they used my gift cards, and now it's supposed to be like kosher.
Yeah. I think one advantage regarding these cards and the cards that you guys, Triple Mars, offers, is that All these things, like Maor said, that they're now narrowing down, it comes directly from the legit sources, because these sources get their information officially from Amazon, and then it goes to all the suppliers of gift cards as triple Mars. So that like it's very easy to see where the trend is going, because you're in this industry. So that's something to to take note of. And also, again, as Maor said before, sometimes accounts get closed not because of illegitimate gift cards, but also because of activity like wholesale, like drop shipping, and buying like 100 orders per day from one Prime account, which is absolutely against Amazon's policies. So you gotta be smart regarding that. Another thing that is being asked here from Marianne: is using tax exemption on an Amazon buying account really a federal crime?
Well, if it's your own company and you actually requested a resale certificate, which is the tax exempt
from each state.
Yeah, and from each state, I'm gonna say, of course, this is legal. It's a legal way to do that, but you should know that every like getting a tax exemption doesn't mean that you don't pay the taxes. That means that if you sold the item, you are the reseller of the item, you actually you should receive the funds with a tax, and you should be the one that actually transfers the tax to the states. So what is going on with the resale is that if I'm buying the item from Amazon, I'm like telling Amazon, look, I'm not the end customer, so I shouldn't pay the sales tax. So I'm exempting the taxes, and I will collect them for you from the buyer. Now, doing that, if I have a US company, I should go and do that on each state. And that means that I should report to each state, even if it's zero, every quarter, what was the revenue of sales tax that I collected. Now, there are a few entities that are exempt just for being different kind of entity, such as government or non-profit. Yeah, I was looking for the word. So a non-profit company, it's the same, and those guys are exempt. So again, I know that there are many people that are doing shady stuff, selling tax exemption and stuff like this. It's just a matter of time until Amazon, FBI, IRS, or whatever will get tired of it and will just kill it or destroy the business that we are at. So I hate to be like the one that preaches to you guys on how you should work or the way that you should conduct your business, because I know it's not fair that others are doing that, and I know that you guys want to advance, and I know that you think that you don't have nothing to do with that, but be good boys, because it could be an issue that will sting you for life, and you don't want to be there.
Yes. Okay, so we don't have any more questions, and actually we don't have any more time for now. So this would be a good time to end this. So Maor, I want to say thank you very much. It was very interesting for me, and it was also very interesting, I'm sure, for the watchers. And if you guys want to see and continue looking and watching and listening to us regarding anything related to dropshipping news, to things related to your business in this field, we will be doing this every Monday, probably at 4 p.m. like we did today. It will maybe vary if we have other important things in the bio, but let's say for now 4 p.m. Meanwhile, we welcome you to give us any suggestions that you want for topics, things that you've heard about. We will take the time to look into it, and if it's interesting and relevant for many people, we'll research it and we'll also bring it up in our next episode so that everyone could learn and everyone could improve in their business. And this is our goal in the end, for you guys to rock and to be great, to do great in your business, in your dropshipping business specifically. So, yes, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, so thank you guys, and see you in the next news session next week. Bye guys.
Bye-bye.